Yo, 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 what's up, party people? YEXT earnings on the tape did not get a deal, but we got the next best thing, which is good earnings and process is ongoing. Let's discuss. So the revenue number missed the street by 1 million, but there really is no guidance and no real analyst on this thing. So I mean, 1 million is inconsequential, 113 versus 112, whatever it is. EBITDA is up quarter over quarter. ARR is exactly flat quarter over quarter. And net retention rates ticked up from the previous quarter. Everything about the business is exactly the same health as it was last quarter when they put the bid in. I would have loved to seen an acceleration in revenue and ARR. There was no reason we were going to believe that was going to happen. But the most important thing here is that the business is stable, healthy, and doing exactly what it was doing when the CEO put in his bid in August. What else is there? Hat tip to my buddy Andrew, saw on the 10Q. They continue to buy back stock in September, October, and in November. You can calculate the November buyback by looking at the share count on November 24th, which is at the top of the 10Q, and what the share count was on October 31st, which is on the balance sheet. They bought back something like 500,000 shares in the 3 weeks in November. So they're buying back somewhere between 500 and 600,000 shares every month since the bid. How are they doing that? They're doing that because they have a 10B plan in place. And they're allowed to do that while they run a whole process because it was prearranged. This is not a small amount of stock. There's 120 million shares outstanding. So at 500,000 shares a month, that's 6 million shares a year, which is not nothing on 122 million shares. They were much more aggressive with the buyback when in the sixes, but the buyback fell to that 500, 600,000 share a month in June and July, well before the bid. So there's nothing to read in there. They also said in the 10Q that the CEO canceled his 10B plan, his personal 10B plan, and there'll be, of course, no conference call like there wasn't last time. So what does this all mean? Most likely, this process is very alive and well. They think they would have killed the process today if there was no process to be had. It's been 3.5 months. I think it probably means it's more likely than not that the CEO no longer is in the pole position to take over this company, that there is competitive and other interest, because 3.5 months is more than enough time to check the landscape with other bids, have everybody pass, and finalize a deal price with the CEO. It's also more than enough time to have everybody pass and to not come to terms on price with the CEO. They want to stay, if they're going to stay a public company, they have to be out in light and they have to do conference calls, and they're not doing them for the second quarter in a row. So what does this mean regarding timing? I still think there could be a deal within weeks, though now it's more likely probably after the first of the year. There's nothing special about them reporting earnings today. They had to report it by December 15th. So even if they were 2 or 3 or 4 weeks away from a deal, the earnings have to come out. I clearly don't think they're going to announce a deal in the next 7 days, or else they would have just waited to report earnings with the deal. So, yeah, nothing special about YEXT. From an earnings perspective, nothing's changed in my thesis. I still think it'll be taken out for north of $10, probably still by January OPEX. I would think certainly by the end of January. All right, party people, let's get forward deal now and have a great day. Have a great night.